Hello everyone, this is Plankara, and welcome to my universe. Last time, I wanted to twist her sleeves a little bit like this, and it ended up being way more of an adventure than I thought it would. And now that I was looking at it today, I was realizing that I should actually follow the twist all the way up to her shoulder here. So I'm gonna go ahead and hide these layers briefly, just so I can, I don't know, properly move that there. I don't want it to go too far. Like, I'm still probably gonna have the connection point be somewhere around here, but it needs to move a little bit more than it currently is. I guess okay. This is the side that I have scrolled to, so I will start with the side. It doesn't matter that much. I will do both and then just mirror it all to the other side. Oh yeah, this is just more of a smoothness thing. Because right now it looks a bit silly. Just a bit. Because yeah, it was just occurring to me when I was looking at it this morning, I was like, huh, you know, that's gonna look funny. There's ever a frame where the lapels are not covering this. I should probably touch that up. But I don't think it's going to be much trouble. And then I can do the up and down keyframes here. And we'll see if those are less of an adventure than what the left and right were. I don't think they will be, so that might take a little while. But with any luck, I'll be able to get this parameter onto a keyframe today, and I'll be able to watch things swish. Because physics really do just make everything so much more fun. That is just the point that everything comes together. Everything. And it's like some things that maybe were only okay before, now just things suddenly look a lot less stiff, and it just makes me very happy. Oh, it just makes me very happy. So yeah, let's see how far I can get with the physics on the sleeve here. I only got a couple more parameters I want to do on it. Just this one and one more, I think. Just enough to make certain areas a little bit more floppy. All of this should add a... how should I describe it? Very nice amount of kind of directional turning to it, because, you know, right now it flops around a bit, but I wouldn't say that flopping around is especially realistic, and while I hesitate to use the word realistic there, since I'm not going for something super realistic here, just trust me. It'll look way more three-dimensional and cool once I get this parameter that I'm working on onto it. It's gonna be great. I've seen what people do with parameters similar to this, and oh. It adds a lot. It adds so much. Okay, there we go. I think that's... maybe got a tiny lump right there. Okay, there we go. That should be fine. Let me just check it here. Make sure all is well. That is not well. This side is definitely not well, but I think this side is okay. I might... Yeah. This side is mostly okay, but I think I can do a little bit better. I think I can do just a little bit better than that. I'm gonna pull it a little further out here. And then I want to move the piece going behind here fully behind it, I think. Because down here it's fully behind, so it'd be kind of weird if it's not up there. So let's just tuck that away completely. Tuck it away completely. There we go. That should make this look like a nice little twist. Just smoothing things out through here, just a touch here, and yeah, I think that should do it. I think that should look pretty good. And it's still attaching over there, and so I think that's okay. I'll check this side first, because this side's going to need a little bit more work. So let's just make sure that this is all agreeing with me. Oh yeah, I like that. I think that is quite nice. Alright, let's go fix this side now. So, what made this look so terrible to me is, watch the top here as I turn it. It goes back to the right, and that does not make sense. It should go further to the left with every other part of this. But instead it is going to the right. Not good. Everything here should move in roughly the same direction. I gotta be careful up there, though. I don't want to move where it connects to her shoulder very much, if at all. So I'm gonna be a little bit more careful through here. I don't want to move things down here below the belts too much. But I do want to smooth all that out. Actually, I didn't check these belts very closely. Let me check that side here. Because this was covered by the lapel, so I wasn't really paying that much attention to it. And yeah, that's a stretchy little guy. He's getting all stretched out. So I'm gonna touch that up before I go back over there. That's this one. Just send him back on over here. I think that roughly lines up there. Let's check it. I should just be able to eyeball it. Not quite, but it's better. Still seems like it might be a little bit thick. Mostly at the bottom, just right there. I think everything else looks fine. So in theory, if I just tuck that in, it should now be okay. We probably won't see too much of this guy here, but I think it should be ready. Because the lapel that would cover this part is very, very wiggly. So if it ever shows this while everything is wiggling, then it would look kind of bad if I don't take the time to make it look right here. Okay, I think that's fine. So now I will just take a look at some of the other pieces. This guy going a little bit too far forward. As always with all these little metal parts, very important to keep their relative sizes very, very close to the originals, so that this way they look very rigid and metallic. If they start getting... if their relative sizes start changing a lot, they will just look too flexible to be metal. Metal does not wiggle. Metal not wiggly. Very important to keep in mind when rigging metal things. Okay. And then I think once I get... there's like this line in the middle here. I think once that looks okay, then this should be okay. Let me stare at this for a minute here. Okay, I think I know what to do. As always, sometimes I just gotta look at it for a little bit, and everything will start to make sense. That line in the middle was what was bothering me. So I just gotta get that lined up nicely. And I think once that part is fine, everything else should kind of come together a little bit better. And I actually think that the line is a bit off through here too, now that I look at it. But I'm not sure how. Okay, Mesh, how is the line breaking? Okay. Everything is just moving down. I did scrunch the vertices over here pretty hard, so... Personally, I think that made the perspective look pretty nice, but it looks like some of them got twisted downward just a touch there, so... gotta push them back in the right place. Just gotta push them back in the right place. No, right there is still not quite there, so let's... Am I just tucking it in a little bit too much? It's funny because I tucked it in like that because I thought it was getting too fat through there, but... maybe I was just seeing things incorrectly. That does happen sometimes. Okay, yeah, that looks better. Look, I'm not gonna complain about a fix being that easy. And now I think I'm realizing why it took me so long to do this little twist last time too. Rigging these little metal pieces is, not as easy as I thought it would be. They're very particular. They're very particular if I want to keep them looking very stiff and metallic. Okay, but I think that's good. So now we'll do the same thing for the metal part on this side. See how it looks. It's getting a little too compressed right there, and I do think it is. This side just has the opposite problems as the other side. Just due to the nature of the twist, where everything over here gets a little bit too scrunched together on this side, whereas everything on the other side got a little bit too stretched out. So I will just take another moment to actually make sure that these pieces are exactly where they should be. That's probably gonna take a lot of staring. Always does. But I think that the result of all that staring is very much worth it. Yeah, there we go. That is so much better. Look at that. That looks very convincing, in my opinion. Now I just need to get the top part here, and I can go from there. I actually don't even think this part is looking okay. Huh. Because I thought this part showed... Oh no, I guess, yeah, that part would be... No, it shows. Huh. Okay. Well, I guess this is why I double-check things. Because I'm not quite satisfied with how that part looks either. I will go ahead and start with this piece, though. Because I can only do one thing at a time, so I have to take the entire thing piece by piece. Just go in and... yeah, make sure that it's just all working out. There's like these little screws on it here, and that's the portion that I'm looking at now. Trying to make sure that those screws are round, and this one in particular is just... he's going on a little adventure. Alas, I must shut down these little adventures because metallic things aren't supposed to move that much. Needs to go home and get into place. Yeah, there we go. I don't mind a tiny bit of movement, but I guess that might be a little bit too much. A tiny bit's probably fine. If only because this part is going to be, like, mostly hidden. I don't think it'll show very much, and if it does, it's only going to be for brief moments. So I don't really feel the need to go full perfectionist on it, just moderate amount of perfectionism. And even that, I think, is mostly just because I can't help myself. I can't. I really can't. I want everything to look nice. I want all my little vertex friends to be happy. Alright, this seems okay, so now I will adjust the little connecting piece here. You got a little bit compressed too, as you might expect, but that didn't help. Okay, let's try that again. I misjudged the angle that it was at before. And these things do happen. I do not always get things looking right the first time. I'd actually say most of the time it takes me a couple of tries. Alright, I think that's good. I don't think it really needs much more than that. And so now I will just go and revisit this guy. Let's see here. How do I want to go about this? I know I'm not entirely satisfied with how it looks, but I'm not quite sure what's bothering me so much about it. I just know that there's something that is not quite right. So I'm gonna do my best guess. I felt like maybe it just needed to be a little bit longer. Okay, no, I think that actually about covered it. Cool. Okay, and then of course this outer piece is not connecting to it quite right here. Let me see, how exactly should that be fixed? Okay, no, I actually think it's pretty straightforward. I think I just need that, like, a couple of clicks over to the right. Yeah, now it looks a little bit more like a twist. It's not moving quite so much. I think it actually needs to go a little bit further. So it was actually kind of far off here, wasn't it? Yeah. I think it's in a pretty good spot now. Just fixing some stuff on the overall shape there. Okay. Yeah, I think I like this. The back part, I think, is curving a little bit too much, but now I think it's all at least in a good spot. All the other pieces are looking fine. So once I fix those back corners, I think that all should be well. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay. Now I can go back in and start fixing up the sleeve. Fixing up the sleeve part itself, because I don't think it quite knows what's going on. It needs a little bit of help here. So, I'm going to move it relative to this again. That worked pretty well for the rest of it. And actually, now that I look at this part, this isn't right. That is definitely not quite right. I'm just trying to think of how I need to fix this. And I think it's going to be something like that. It looked like it was kind of squeezing toward the middle. Yeah. And then the back of it is... How do I describe? It's getting thinner. So I think I need to just, like, pull this entire edge down there. And now I'm worried that this may be happening with other ones, so I should check them. Let's just check them real quick. Yeah, the back edge of this one is also not being pulled down enough. Man, I hope the corners are kind to me on this one. Little metal bits are... yeah. They're quite the thing. They are quite the thing indeed. My goodness. That's okay. This is why it's important to check these things. And make sure that everything is actually working out the way you think it is. These little guys, they're kind of particular. They know what they want, and they will be upset if they don't get it. Okay, I don't think it's a bad way to be. Yeah, I just want to be a little bit more precise in a few areas. Let me actually double check everything on this side too. Let's just get all these metal bits out of the way, so I don't have to worry about them anymore. Yeah, the angle on this one is completely wrong. You know, it's times like this that I wonder if any of my VOD watchers are just here screaming at the screen, just being like, wait! Wait! I feel that way about Subnautica sometimes too. Where if I'm just blind and miss something, do I have viewers screaming at the screen and just being like, wait! My husband watches my Subnautica streams, and he said that he was feeling that when I was gathering a bunch of stuff that was supposed to be for an upgrade in the scanner room. It was supposed to upgrade the range, but I looked at the wrong recipe and ended up making the thing that goes into one of your equipment slots to show scanner room stuff on the HUD. And he said, he was like, no, wait, wait. And I know I do it to people I watch sometimes too. Or I'm just like, oh no. Oh no. It's so easy to miss stuff while you're in the thick of things. This is just telling me that I should take my sweet time. Just take as long as I need to get this just the way I want it. Increasingly, this is why I'm not convinced I could actually do art for a living. I am so bad at estimating time. It's unbelievable. I think I'm about as bad at estimating time as I am estimating distance. And I have always been terrible at that. I just have no sense of depth perception. And I guess it's true here. I have no sense of depth perception in the fourth dimension. Checks out. Checks out indeed. Okay, and I'm gonna want to go check this other part of her sleeve here too. But for now, I'll just keep looking at the inner part here. The part closer to her body. That's kind of how I'm defining inner and outer for these areas. Okay. And indeed, I just do feel like a lot of these just are not quite right. So yeah, I guess it's good that I'm going through and double-checking them, really scrutinizing everything that I did last time. Have faith in your past self, but do not always fully trust them. They can be just as wrong as you can be. Just, you know, give them some credit. They're doing their best. I really like how this is coming out, though. I think it looks really good. Turn here, I think, is very convincing. I'm very proud of myself. You know, I'm also just realizing just how many small little details went into the shading in various folds on this coat. Now that I have to really push them all into place. I'm realizing that if you want to understand an art style, try to rig it. Because this has given me so many more insights to this artist's style that I think I would have gotten from just attempting to recreate the drawing itself. It's pretty wild, honestly, just how many little things go into this. I really would like to do another one someday. Might even do one from, another one from Path to Nowhere. We shall see. We shall see. Okay, I feel like the metal part is caving in over here, but otherwise I think we're good. Yeah, it's this one. Okay. Couldn't remember what layer it was for a second there. There's just... the only difference between the names on most of these layers is... whatever I use for their location identifier. The top, middle, bottom, or hidden. And top is, of course, not the top one. That's hidden. Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay. I'm gonna keep going on up. I was gonna say, the metal part here looked okay, but then I noticed this side is... This side isn't right. He's a wiggling a little bit too much. And I think that'll be a pretty easy fix, because he mostly just needs to come just a little bit higher. And then I think all will be well. No, this side kind of does too. Both sides were kind of off in the same way. Okay. I mean, makes sense. It really does. It's like if I made the mistake on one half of it, it does indeed make sense that they'd be off in both places. Honestly, now I'm worried that all the metal parts are going to be off on the other side too, and I'm just going to have to go through and really check them out. I can do so. I will just go back over everything. And I think this is going to be good stuff to keep in mind for when I do the top and bottom keyframes here. I still just really hope that the corners are going to work out for me. Because, man, it is... They are just a little particular. They are. They know what they want, and they will not rest until they get it. And they will just keep complaining in my face, and squirming and looking bad, until they get exactly what they want, until I meet their demands. I'd say rude, but honestly, I think my cute little vertices deserve it. They deserve everything. They are fantastic. I mean, look at them. They're just out there doing their best. Doing their best to help me define the locations of all the things I want to move. And make it so that I actually can move them. I mean, just imagine trying to do a frame-by-frame animation with something like this. It would be pure suffering. But because I have my little Vertex friends and all the things that understand them, I am able to make a nice little animation here. Computers are pretty fantastic. And just all the tools that we have here to make it so we don't have to manually do all these things. Okay. I think that's good. So now I want to double check where the code is because the lining of the code is definitely not lining up with this metal part quite right here. I saw a bit of squirming. Actually, no, it's not as bad as I thought it was. I was thinking of a different spot. No, I think I got here fine. Maybe it was on the other side. Okay, I could believe that. This side, not so bad. Okay. In that case, I just need to adjust here, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that. I don't really like that this middle part is now overlapping this part of the code. I don't think that's actually how it should work. But I don't know what to do about it. I don't really want to mess with the layer order here. That... I don't think that would work very well, so... I think I'm just gonna leave it like that. I think it's a small enough detail that people will really not notice, and for the most part it's gonna be covered by the lapels anyway. So I just don't think it's worth stressing over, so I'm not going to. I'm just not gonna. Gotta pick my battles here. Otherwise, I'll be working on this for the next 10 years. There is a little bump through this area, though, and I think that part is worth modeling at least a little bit here. I do think it is worth at least a little bit. Okay, I think that's good. Let's see how this little twist looks now. Because that should be much improved. Yeah, I think so. Let's see. I want to take another look at the belt here. I think it's moving well, but I don't think that the bottom part of the coat here is moving quite so well. So I want to actually just take another look and make sure that things are moving the right amounts. Like, here, this part is a little bit closer to this button than it is this belt loop. So what I have here might be accurate. It just... there isn't quite as clear a landmark as there is on... up here. So let me see, this kind of goes in, out, and then back down. So right here should kind of be the thickest part, because it's going out here and then back down here. So I think this location is okay, I just need to push the bottom part back. Okay, that makes sense in my head. Because there was something over here that wasn't quite looking right to me. I wasn't entirely sure what it was. That is fairly normal. Sometimes I just kind of have to stare at things for a moment before I fully understand them. Let's go ahead and kind of smooth this out a bit. Let's see if that improved. Okay, and the bottom I'm still not quite happy with. But I think I know just what to do for it. This part comes down a bit, this part comes up a bit. And I think that should do it. There's just a small little bump at the bottom where it kind of goes in, and I think I just had it in the wrong place. Okay, the bump here needs to come a little further down. Like something like this. Okay, yeah, that seems alright. That does seem alright. Okay. Now I want to go look at this outer spot. Make sure that it is connecting with all the little I don't know, buckle pieces here? Okay, right here seems fine. There's like a little bump right there that I do not think I'm capturing, and it's also a little bit stretched out. So, let's see if I can get that a little bit better. There's this little highlight right there that I felt was going a little bit too low. Yeah, that entire area is just super stretched out. I'm gonna consult the mesh so this way, hopefully I can make it look a little bit less stretched. Okay, I see it. That's probably fine. I don't have the bump in the right place, though. Not at all. This part is actually a little bit concave looking, and the bump is a little bit further up. There's a hole right there. I will fill that in momentarily. I will do that before I move on to the next area. But I want to make sure that I have it looking good before I start filling in various holes. Because the hole may change shape before I finish it. So I just want to make sure I have it right before I start doing those kinds of corrections. I'm going all the way up to the belt buckle itself. And I will go into the next one, and then I can worry about various other little bits of cleanup. And I'm not going to worry about the shadow yet. I will do that shadow at the very end. Okay, I think that's better, but I will go ahead and fill in that little hole there. So that'll be something on this guy. I can just kind of pull him out here. There we go. Nice and easy. Alright. I can tell it's been about an hour because my foot was falling asleep. And it was ready for a little bit of movement. Okay, and as I get further up, it looks like it's just going to start hiding under things, so I should, in theory, have less to look at. But I do want to make sure that they are connecting at the right point. That's what's important here. Okay, that seems fine. And then up here. Right here's a little lumpy. Okay, seems fine to me. So now I check the bottom, because I saved the area by the belt for the end. Is there anything I need to fix up there? Okay, I'm not sure what this is, but I will take a look at that. I think it's probably a piece of the shadow. Yeah, the sleeve itself looks fine, so let's see if I am correct, and if this is a piece of the shadow. It is. Here we go. All better. All better. And then this should be the belt shadow. I want him to move over just a touch. Kind of keep the dark part here in roughly the same spot. And then I'll just start taking things piece by piece. Where I just look up here and I'm like, okay, is the shadow moving the way it should? Yes, no. And if the answer is no, then I just need to push it around a little bit. Makes me sound like I am a terrible bully to my vertices, but I promise they enjoy it. Okay, I think this section looks fine. And then up here, I definitely need a little bit more shadow. You can see it kind of disappears where it shouldn't. So let's bring this on back. It should probably actually cover most, if not all of that, so... Yep, looks good to me. Okay. It's like I did prepare a shadow for the other side, but I don't think it actually makes sense to use it here. I just had it just in case. Okay. So now I'm gonna go ahead and scrutinize all the metal bits on this sleeve, the other one. Just gonna stare at them super hard. I feel like the screw here is just getting a little bit too compressed. I don't mind things appearing a little bit more compressed in general. I think it makes sense with the angle turn. But this is too much. So, hello there. So you said, you want to be called Black Hole Knight? And as for what I'm doing, I am turning Shalom from Path to Nowhere into a VTuber model for fun. And I've been having a good time. Right now I am working on adding physics. I'm making a physics parameter that will add a little twist to her sleeves. So you can see I have most of it done here. I'm just kind of going back and fixing up some things I don't like very much. I am rigging. This is official art from a game that I cut out so I could rig it. So right now I'm making it move. And you can see the moving one sitting here next to me. It's a work in progress, but I've been leaving her up there, well, one, because I enjoy it, but also so I can look over and see if there's any obvious problems. So this isn't actually my art. This is art from a game. It's a game called Path to Nowhere. And right now I'm just taking a look at a bunch of things I did yesterday that I just feel like need a bit of fixing up. Sorry, I'm not quite sure I understand. Like I said, for the moment, not drawing, just, rigging this art that I have. But I do draw sometimes. Okay, I didn't actually realize how far off this, the back of this belt loop was, so I am glad that I'm going back and looking things over again. Where is the... Okay. Getting lost in all my layers again. There we go. Tuck in that corner just a touch. I think I might actually need to make it longer than that, but yes, I do. It was too far out before, so as always, just trying to do one thing at a time. So I pushed it in so this way it's not so thick, and now I can pull it down and hopefully get the right shape there. Smooth out that point there. There we go. Okay, I think I actually just want the entire thing, that entire belt loop there, to go a little bit further to the left. Something like that. Have it move with the rest of the shadows in the code a little bit better. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Do I want it to move any more? I don't think so. I'm just realizing that here to here is actually pretty straight. So I think I just need to move this back out. I think I pushed it in a little bit too much when I was making that adjustment. So I'll go ahead and pull it back out just a bit here. I guess it's okay if it looks a little bit convex. It did here too. You can see that this curve right here kind of suggests that it's being pushed in toward the belt. So I think it's okay to keep that kind of feeling here. I might even want to push it in right through here in order to continue making it look just a little bit concave there. Okay, yeah, that is significantly better, man. Now I'm looking at the shadow on the belt. I'm debating if I like that. Because I'm not entirely sure if I do. Okay, yeah, I think there's a way I can do what I was going for just a little bit better there. I think I just need to pull the shadows on the bottom a little bit further to the left in order to keep these points a little bit pointier. Because if you look at the original here, you can see that these shadows are kind of triangular. So here's the triangle, and then here's a triangle. And I was making them significantly flatter here. So yeah, I think if I just pull the bottom part a little bit further to the left, that will fix my issues here. I might need to reshape where this point on the belt is. Because if you look at it, it kind of goes down like this, and then there's a little point here where it changes angle. Yeah, I think I just need to get that spot in the right spot too. Huh. I see. Okay. I had the wrong layer. It's not the belt that I want to adjust, it's the belt flap. Okay. That is why it didn't feel like things were moving. Just casually getting my layers confused. It happens sometimes. It does. More than I would like. In fact. No, still not quite there. Still not quite happy with it all. And then I guess this might have just been messing around with the belt a little bit too much, but I want it tucked back behind the belt flap here. I do not think it should be showing. Okay, I think that's better. This works for me. Okay. Yep. So now I can go back to all these little metal pieces that I was taking a look at before. Let me see, I think this part is fine. I'm just taking a look at this part. I'm not quite sure about this part. Let me just stare at that for a little bit. Okay, I think its shape might be okay if I just take it and move the entire thing a couple of clicks to the left. That might fix what I was seeing. Yes, I think so actually. And then there's a little bit of like metallic texture right there that I think looks a bit strange, so I'm gonna see if I can, I don't know, make it look a little bit less strange. Okay. What I think is happening here is the middle vertex here needs to go a little bit further to the left, and then the one on the outside needs to go a little bit further to the right in order to stretch it back out again. Ah, yes, there we go. That is so much better. So much better. Okay, and actually, now that I look here, I think that this top corner needs to come up just a touch here. Don't really need to move the screw much or anything. It just got a little bit thinner than it should have on the top there. Okay, and then I'm just gonna take a moment to finish correctly shaping a couple of these pieces. I just don't think that they're quite shaped correctly. I've already spent this much time here, so I might as well go all the way through. Okay, I think that's good. On to the next one. Okay, I think this one is mostly good. Just a couple of points to touch up. I felt like it was getting a little bit thick through this centerpiece, and that this point here needs to be pointing a little bit further upward. These are both very, very minor. And then just a small piece in the middle here. I think it needs to come just a little further out. Alright, seems good. Let's go on to the next one. It looks like this side is a little bit better than the other side was, which is fortunate. I must have spent a little bit more time adjusting these ones last time. Because they all do look pretty good, in my opinion. Tricky little metal bits. Okay, seems fine. And then I adjusted this one this morning, so should be all good. Okay. In that case, I'm gonna go back to adjusting the actual part of her sleeve here. There are a couple of areas that I don't like very much. Like this highlight is not working for me. I don't like it at all. I think it should curve in something like this. Which admittedly looks a bit strange with the belt loop, but I think it's okay. I might just need to move the belt loop a little bit more. Yeah, I think if I move the belt loop a little bit more, then that should be fine. And with how much I moved it this morning, that does tell me that I probably had some problems with it. That it just was not quite right. Okay, no, that was pretty bad. Let's try that again. Okay, but I have some ideas. Not you. Loop and button. Here we are. So still, I feel like that loop was perhaps the belt loop here was just not far enough to the left again. That seems to be a common theme here. And then the button just needs to move a little bit more with it. They were moving a little bit separately. Button's not right. Loop is better. Loop is better. So let's get the button in place now. There we go. Once one gets into position better, then the rest normally follows. It's very nice. That's why I'll often hide layers that are pretty directly intertwined with each other and get one into a decent spot and then start working on the other one. It's actually pretty hard to do them both at once in certain situations. This is a small enough area that it's not really that bad, but nonetheless. That is why I do that, and that's why Shalom was bald for so long, because trying to do the hair with the rest of her head at the same time would have been pretty hard. Quite. And it gave me enough room to get things started, and now she has not just all of her hair back on, but it also has physics. Yay, look at it swish. Just a matter of doing things one piece at a time, and I feel like that can apply to like, literally everything in life. Not even just art and other creative stuff, just literally everything. You just gotta break it down into steps that you can actually take. Because if you try to do it all at once, you're gonna have a bad time. It's not gonna work very well. So now the next step that I'm trying to take is I'm trying to break down the area between these two metal parts and figure out where the coat should all line up and where it should be. I felt like the little piece that comes out of this metal bit is too far down, so went ahead and moved them back up. And then I'm just trying to line up the shape here. Trying to imitate it all, and everything here is fairly straight. I don't think it has to be perfectly straight in my deformations, but I want to try to get it close. Like, I think this is fine. It's not a 100% match, but I think it's close enough. I do. I say as I make a couple of adjustments, because of course I do, but I do think it's close enough here. Okay, yeah, I think that's fine. So now we'll do the area between the next couple of metal bits. Just one little area at a time. And breaking it down like this makes it much more manageable. Because I think if I tried to do the whole thing at once without just saying, okay, I'm going to do this small bit, and then this small bit, and then this small bit, and just tried to take it all in all at once, I think I'd have a much harder time. Because, like, I can remember what from here to here looks like when I disarm the parameter and start just twisting it so I can get a better idea of what it looks like. Like, I can remember what that looks like, but trying to remember the entire thing with the level of detail necessary to actually rig it, I can't imagine. Can't imagine at all. I don't think I could do it. Unironically, I do not think I am physically capable of doing something like that. But here to here, no problem. So now we'll do here to here. Just one more little piece. And as I start getting each tiny little piece of the puzzle done, the entire thing will come together. I don't need to do the whole thing at once. I'm not going to worry about the part up here first. I am just going to do from here to here. And this is an area that I didn't really adjust last time because it was covered by her lapels. So it's a little bit further off than the other ones. But still, it is just a tiny little area, so I can manage it. I'll just do one piece at a time. I'm starting with mostly the outer spot, and then I will adjust this highlight so that it goes through the right areas after that. So again, just dividing this tiny little area into multiple steps. Since I can only drag one vertex at a time, there is no point in trying to take it all in. Just do it one teeny tiny step at a time. One teeny tiny step at a time. It'll stop me from getting overwhelmed. Okay, I think that's good. So now I'll do the highlight. Which, honestly, I think is mostly correct with that one change that I made before, so I'm just gonna smooth it out a little bit. Because right now I don't think the problem is a problem of location or width or anything, it's just... It got a little wavy in the process, like there's a little wave right there and I don't like it, and I'm trying to see how I actually go about fixing this. Okay, I think that's fine. Let's see how it looks. Okay, I actually do think that I want this highlight to be a little bit thicker. I changed my mind, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab my brush and just pull all of these vertices down, and then I'll clean them up after. I'll go ahead and propagate it up here, since that change is probably gonna be want to be something I do up there too. Okay. And now it's just time for cleanup. Make it nice and smooth. Oops. And got a little excited there. Just clicked my mouse button when I didn't mean to. Silly little hand. I also kind of need to pull those changes over here too. Make sure that everything is smooth all the way down. And what I'm looking at in order to determine whether or not this highlight is in the right place is similar to the edges. I'm just looking at where the highlight intersected various pieces on the original. And I was noticing that it went about halfway through the screw here. So I wanted to keep it in roughly the same spot. And then at the bottom here, I noticed that it doesn't quite touch up there. So that also means that I want to lower it a little bit here. And then I just keep doing that until eventually everything's in the right spot, and it's great. Like, I think I've changed the shape of it a little bit too much over here, so I am gonna have to go back down and check the highlight all the way through there. I think this highlight is an important one. So, I want to make sure that I have everything in the right spot. Literally everything. So I'll try to follow the shape there. Looks like I may not be able to get it completely one-to-one the same, just because it also kind of controls a piece of this highlight. But I think that should be close enough. I think so. I think it's close enough. Okay. So now I just want to get from this middle bit all the way up to her shoulder. And that'll be the end. This is the last chunk. So I can see that this top screw does not quite touch the black area, but it gets quite close. So that's about where I want that black area to show up here. Where it gets close, but not quite. And then there's a bump there that I want to honor. Try to keep that the same. Yeah, there we go. And then from there, I kind of want to stretch out this black part just a little bit more. Right now I think it's pressing a little bit too hard. Probably just from how I initially moved it with the brush. This is normal brush problems. Very, very normal brush problems. This is why I called the Destroyer of Worlds. It just goes through and very indiscriminate about how it moves things. Sometimes it has kind of unpredictable effects in that regard. Man. My leg is just kind of unhappy with me today. Okay. I think that's good, and once I clean up this little shadow, or the highlight rather, just kinda smooth all that out, I think it'll look great. That does not look smooth. That does not look smooth. So, there we go. Okay, yeah, I think that's about the same shape as it was before. So let's take a look at all that, and then I'm still going to want to visit the bottom there. Just been doing that last. Okay, yeah, that's better. Yeah, the highlights down here are definitely kind of panicking a little bit. This is, that is indeed what I would call panic. They're just bouncing around all over the place. Let's get them back over there. Okay. And actually, I want to check the edge here. Nope, edge seems fine. It's literally just the highlights inside that were bothering me. But I did want to do my due diligence and actually check the edge. But I think it is fine. So once I wrangle those highlights back into place, that should be it for this side. And then I can do the outer side. And then the shadows, and that'll be it here. That will be it. So it took me like the entire time just to correct this, unfortunately, so it looks like I may not get to put it on a pendulum today. But it's alright, it looks much better now. I think the turn is much more convincing, and that should make it look better once I finally do put it on a pendulum. So I want to make sure that this little shadow where the belt loop is connecting is shaped very nicely. I do not currently feel like it is shaped quite correctly. I do want to make sure it looks like that belt loop is going into the coat there. Okay, there we go. That is much better. That is so much better. See, it makes sense to me that the shadow there would be getting a little bit thinner. Because we're seeing it more from the side rather than straight on. Okay, and then I just see one last thing at the bottom there, and I think this will be perfect. And I can just go ahead and do the outer side. Man, this really did end up being a bit more work than I was expecting. I figured I'd just go in and do a tiny little twist and all would be well, and yet here I am. Yeah, big deformations. I can't underestimate them. Cannot underestimate them at all. They take a while. And I still have 2 more keyframes I want to make with this. It's alright, next week. Next week I will get those 2 done. Because I am so looking forward to seeing this on the pendulum. Because I think it's gonna look really good, and I'm very excited. I'm so excited. I knew the sleeves would be so much fun to do, so I'm kind of letting myself indulge a little bit here. They're just so floppy. And I think ultimately I will do a little bit with the lower body for that reason. Just because I do think it's gonna look weird if there's like no movement at all down there. So I will probably do a little bit with her skirt, but just a little bit. I will allow myself some indulgence, but not too much. It's like I can have 1 cookie, not 5. I just gotta pick my battles a little bit better here. Gotta be careful. I think I've said this before, but when I'm working on a drawing, eventually it just reaches a point where I'm like, okay, there's nothing I can really add to this in order to make it better, and everything looks great, so I guess it's done. And then I finish. But with rigging, I don't think I have ever hit that point. Not once. I look at it and I feel like, you know, if I just added this little thing, I bet I could do it a little bit better. If I tweaked this particular physics just a little bit better, it would look really nice and stuff like that. So I feel like I could unironically work on one model for basically ever and still find plenty of things to do. So I gotta stop myself. Gotta rein in those desires a little bit. Otherwise, I really will just go forever and ever and ever. And it will never stop. Never. Rigging is just a little bit different in that regard. Because there's just a million tiny things that you can add, and it will help. But will it help enough? That is the real question. Will it make a big enough difference to really be worth it? The stuff that I'm doing right now, I do think that it's worth it. Even though it's, you know, kind of hard. And it's taken me a while to get through it all. I do think it will help. It's okay, we'll see if I'm right once it comes time to put it onto the pendulum. Okay, this seems fine. So now I just got to adjust... Well, I should check the bottom first, since I always save that for last. But then I just got to adjust the shadows. And once those shadows are adjusted, I think that'll be everything. And that is, of course, very exciting. I'm always happy when I finish a new little piece. I actually feel like the inner part of the sleeve itself, this little gray part here, is moving a bit strangely on its own. So I will double check him too. Not much point in adjusting the shadows when the things that the shadow is sitting on also looks kind of weird, so let's try to get that too. Let's try to get that too. They gotta work together. Everything's gotta work together. Okay, I think that's better. So now I'll just go in and fix up the shadow. This is a case of where I think it makes sense for it to be a little bit thicker, but I think I might be overdoing it in a couple of areas. And actually, now that I look at it, underdoing it in a couple of areas too. Right here needs to be a little bit thicker. And then I see up here that little bit of shadow showing through, and I don't think it should. So, I'll hide that. Okay, that seems better. Yeah, I think I like this. So I'm gonna go turn these pieces back on for now, just double check it all. Okay, yeah, seems good. So, now I just gotta mirror this to the other side. And that is super easy since they are symmetrical. There we go. Now I should have a far superior wiggle there. Alright, I'm gonna get started on the top and bottom, but I think I might just end there after that. But I would like to get my ideas started there. So, okay. So up is for when she moves up, and down is for when she moves down. So when she moves up, that means that the sleeves themselves are kind of stretching downward. I'm trying to picture this in my head real quick, just to... So yeah, it's like when she moves up, her sleeves do this. Kind of stretch out, and then when she goes down, they kind of shoot out like a parachute. So... I'm trying to picture it in my head. Okay, I think I have an idea. I don't think I'm gonna move them too hard. I'm gonna keep this fairly gentle. And I'm just gonna select everything again. Literally everything. And I am just gonna very, very gently. Oh yeah, and at least in these angles, I only have to do one sleeve. So that'll be nice. But anyway, I just very, very gently kind of turn it downward just a touch. So something like that. Like I said, I'm only going to do one sleeve. I will mirror it to the other side at the end. Okay, probably need a little bit more than that, but that's kind of the idea that I'm going for. How am I going to do this? I'm hide this layer again. Okay, I think I'm going to start with all of the little metal pieces here, because I think that they'll give me a good idea of how I'm planning on turning this. I want this part to kind of come down, but this part doesn't move much. It's just the center that moves down mostly. That's going to look a little weird until I fix it, because they're going to look a little bit more flexible than they should. But I find this to be an easier way to get started than worrying about its rigidity right away. Yeah, and you can see I'm trying to make it look like it's rotating just a touch. It's kind of the idea here, so let's rotate this bottom part a little bit now. So if it's kind of going backwards, then the inner part here should do... Actually, yeah, this is the part that I'm wanting to move here. This part should... Let me picture it in my head again. Okay, so this part should go up. And then these two parts to come down. Yep. So far, so good. And this should come up. Actually, I guess I'll move that and the shadows at the same time. Just because otherwise I will probably confuse myself. So that should go up too. And then I'm guessing that the back of the sleeve here, where are you? Has a little shadow on it for the inner piece there, so I'll want to slide that up a bit. Okay, I think I want these guys to stretch down just a bit more here. Again, mostly in the center. Not that much. And I'm also trying to make it a little bit flatter. I think that'll make it look a little bit more like it's rotating too. Okay. Yeah, I like that. That works. Now I'm going to take a look at this belt here. So that's going to be you, and you, and you. I will worry about the back parts after. And once again, worrying mostly about the center. Okay, that seems good. And what about you? How should you look when things are kind of rotating back? I think the top should be a little bit more prominent and the bottom should be a little bit more tucked in. I think that is the kind of thing that I'm going for here. Where are you? Just keep losing my layers, man. I swear, they're hiding from me. Yeah, they just like to hide. They're very silly. I like this a lot. I just need to put the upper corner back in the right place here. Yes, I like this lots. I think this is working. Okay, so where's the belt loop again? Here you are. Let's bring this corner up a little bit. I like this proportion, but I'd need to bring the entire thing a little further down. Because right now it just looks like it's crawling right back up, and that does not make sense. Then where's the back piece? There's a back piece around here somewhere. I'm just gonna click until I find it, because I can't see it. There it is. Little more. Sure, where was it? It's around here somewhere. There it is. Okay, so it's like 4 above the actual belt loop layer. Okay, that works. I will smooth out this belt next time, and then the back of this belt. And the back here, where are you? There you are. I want to change your angle just a bit. We're gonna stretch you out. There we go. Smooth it out, but I want to get the angle of the belt here doing what I want it to do. Or it looks like we see just a little bit more of it from the top. Yeah. Let's see, is there anything else that I want to do here? It's very subtle, but I think it'll work. These guys are a little bit easier to rotate on this angle. This one, she's not like bending over or anything, so I don't want it to be very strong. So this should be fine. And then I'll start the lower turn too, since I'm not gonna want to go into detail on it today. I'll just get it started. So once again, I will grab everything and just take a look at the metal parts. That's where I kind of get things started. And this time I will move it up. So this time we're going to see more of the bottom of it instead of the top. Okay. And it'll look a bit weird for a second, but it always does. Yeah, I think that is the gist of my idea here. We'll need to adjust that, but that's fine. I can do that. Alright. I'm, adjust the metal parts a little bit more. I'm at the point where I kind of have to move them individually. And once again, we're gonna let them be like jelly here. I'll make them look metallic a little bit later. Right now, I just want to get my ideas down and make sure it actually looks the way that I think it should. That's kind of the important part. Does it actually kind of do what I want it to do? Yeah. Okay, now let's get the belt, and once again, it's gonna move kind of the same way here. And I'll need to get the belt itself as well. So he kind of needs to come up. It'd be flat here. And I will need to adjust the back. I think on both sides, actually. We should not see any of the back here. And on this side, we should see considerably less of it. Just flatten that guy out there. And I'll smooth out the belt properly next time, too. I'm just gonna do just enough to actually get the shape that I'm going for. Currently, it's not quite doing it. Just got so many belts here. Welcome to anime indeed. Belts everywhere. Who cares if they're functional? Just put a belt there. It'll immediately make things more anime. Okay, and now I'm gonna take the back of the sleeve here, and we're gonna pull him down. We're gonna make this super flat. And I will take the inside and outside there and push him up. It's gonna be so flat. Okay, and I think that sums it up. Yeah, I guess I need to adjust the belt loop a little bit too. Kind of do the reverse of what I was doing with the top angle there, and make this flatter where we see less of that highlight there. Okay, and that is super messy, but I think that's good for now. Let me just watch her wiggle. Yeah, I think this will do what I want it to do. Just keeping it fairly small there. And there we go. Alright, so next time I will clean up these up and down. And then we'll stick it on the pendulum. And I only have to work on one side, which makes me happy. But I do think that I will stop here for today. So, thank you all for coming, and I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I will see you all tomorrow.